medical systems, including Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani Tibi, are essential for ensuring their safety and efficacy. No drug is harmless. Historically, these systems evolved through informal practices by self-trained practitioners to address these inconsistencies and foster public trust. Both the state and central governments have implemented legislation aimed at regulating these practices. Standards and regulations are crucial for balancing cultural preservation with public health priorities as they enable the safe practice and development of traditional medicine. These standards enhance the credibility of traditional systems, promoting their integration into modern healthcare. Furthermore, by linking these standards with sustainable practices, traditional medicine can contribute more effectively to global health goals, ensuring that these systems are accessible, safe, and capable of addressing contemporary health challenges. For example, the Drugs and Cosmetics Acts of 1940 regulates the manufacturing, sale, distribution of Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani medicines, ensuring the quality, safety, and efficacy of these products. It mandates strict guidelines for the preparation and packaging of Ayurvedic medicines, prohibiting the sale of spurious or substandard products. The Drugs and Magic Remedies Objectionable Advertisements Act of 1954 prevents misleading claims and advertisements that falsely promise cures for various diseases, emphasizing the importance of transparency and accountability in traditional medicine. In the decision of Kerala Ayurveda Paramparaya Vaidya Forum versus the state of Kerala, the Supreme Court addressed the issue of whether practitioners lacking statutory qualifications should be allowed to practice traditional medicine under the Indian Medicine Central Council Act of 1970 and the Travancore Cochin Medical Practitioners Act. The court upheld that only those registered and qualified under these legal frameworks could practice medicine. It emphasized that public health and safety are paramount, asserting that even traditional systems must be practiced by individuals who are recognized and certified. This highlights the importance of standardized production processes and qualified practitioners to ensure the safety, credibility, and growth of Ayurveda and other traditional medicine systems. Therefore, I urge all of you to work together in upholding these standards, which will strengthen traditional medicine as a credible, sustainable component of modern healthcare. And therefore, I was delighted while looking at the models this evening to see the number of undergraduate students who are now being churned out of the institute at Goa and the postgraduate students who are being churned out of IA here. I've been the beneficiary of the expert medical care who have attended by them to me. The fourth and last postulate is Ayurveda on the global stage. I was just speaking the other day to Dr. Manoj Nesari about his visit to Taiwan, and Dr. Nesari herself went to Geneva just last week. So the last postulate is, how can Ayurveda expand its reach and impact on the global stage? And what steps are necessary to ensure it meets international standards for safety, efficacy, and innovation? I address this problem because, and this issue because, Ayurveda today is not something which is in a cocoon confined to our society. We are now talking about exporting our age-old knowledge, practices and traditions of Ayurveda across the world. But to make it acceptable across the world, we must meet the cultural parameters of countries ranging from Germany to the US, to the continent, to South, the global South, to South Asia, across the world. And we have so many of these representatives of nations across the world, including from Switzerland, who are part of this distinguished audience today. As the world increasingly embraces holistic and alternative healthcare, Ayurveda's potential on the global stage has never been greater. According to a 2024 report
by Market Research Future, the global Ayurveda market, valued at $8 billion in 2022, is projected to grow to $26.16 billion by 2032, driven by increased awareness of Ayurveda's benefits, a growing demand for alternatives to allopathy, and rising disposable incomes. But I would dare say that the time will come when Ayurveda will not be regarded as an alternative, but Ayurveda will become the basic dispenser of a holistic lifestyle. The booming medical tourism industry, particularly in states like Kerala, further highlights sustained interest in Ayurveda-based solutions for wellness and healthcare. Kalpana and I were in Bhutan just last week, and speaking to His Excellency, the King, His Majesty told me about his initiative to set up a mindfulness city bordering Kokrajhar in Assam, in Bhutan. Now I thought to myself that if Bhutan is setting up a mindfulness city, is there not a tremendous potential for us to use and pitchfork Ayurveda for spreading a message of holistic well-being across the world to expats who will come from across South Asia in particular, from countries like Singapore. But a primary barrier to Ayurveda's global growth is the need for scientific validation. Ayurveda has demonstrated effectiveness in areas like chronic disease management and preventive healthcare. Yet, broader acceptance requires rigorous clinical research to meet international healthcare standards. Recognizing this, the World Health Organization has called for greater integration of traditional medical systems like Ayurveda into global healthcare through its Global Strategy for Traditional Medicine 2014-2023. This strategy emphasizes the safety, efficacy, and quality control of traditional medicine, advocating Ayurveda as a credible system for managing chronic diseases, enhancing wellness, and providing preventive health care. So the movement of Ayurveda to be genuinely successful must move from ad hoc individual practitioners to institutional healthcare. Speaking for myself, I would be extremely reluctant to go to an ad hoc practitioner sitting somewhere in a corner of the city, but I feel so much more assured when I go to an institution, when I know that the drugs which are being given to me, the practices which are being advocated are validated, and that they are being pursued by people who are deeply trained and who have the experience and who have the data and the healthcare parameters to back their claims for efficacy. In India, the Ministry of Ayush has been pivotal in addressing those challenges by advancing evidence-based research through collaborations with national organizations such as ICMR, CSIR, the Department of Science and Technology, and DBT. Today's partnerships are perhaps a signal of what holds forth as the potential for the future. These partnerships not only push the boundaries of integrative medicine, but also enable personalized treatments through initiatives like Ayur Genomics, a pioneering effort that merges Ayurveda with genomics to create healthcare solutions tailored to an individual's genetic profile. Combined with the establishment of the WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar, these initiatives bolster India's leadership in traditional medicine on the world stage. I was delighted to receive a copy of Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan's book, which tries to bridge genomics with our traditional knowledge. Capacity building and training are equally critical. Developing a workforce that comprehends both traditional knowledge and modern research standards is essential to Ayurveda's global expansion. This involves extensive training programs which addresses biases and fosters a scientific approach within Ayurvedic studies. Sensitization towards global health perspectives, combined with skill building, is also vital to ensure that Ayurvedic practices meet international expectations for efficacy, transparency, and innovation. As Indians today, we cannot say, take it or leave it. We have to reach out to the global health scenario. We have to validate our knowledge with reference to global health standards
and make our knowledge and practices consistent with what international organizations like the WHO require us to do. This conference, in other words, is an answer to these opportunities and challenges. The Ayurveda Innovation and Startup Expo here exemplifies the power of innovation, highlighting how modern tools like artificial intelligence are transforming Ayurvedic practices. Through innovation, practitioners gain more precise tools to refine their treatments, paving the way for enhanced applications of ancient knowledge in today's healthcare landscape. For instance, at the Supreme Court of India, we have partnered with other nations such as Singapore and Germany and Brazil to discuss the evolving role of AI in decision making, exploring how to make these processes more transparent. In healthcare, AI has the potential to enrich Ayurvedic practices, harnessing data to provide more personalized care and furthering the credibility of Ayurveda in the global medical community. I would end by expressing my gratitude to the organizers of this conference for bringing us together to explore these vital discussions. I hope that these postulates will ignite further thought and forge a path for Ayurveda that embraces both tradition and innovation. Finally, on a personal note, when I contracted COVID in the first wave of COVID, and that was when the vaccines were not there, the Honorable Prime Minister called me up to ask that I was in court that morning, what happened all of a sudden that I disappeared from the scene. Very gracious gesture, and it requested me to speak to Vaidya Koteja ji. Mr. Koteja promptly sent me a wellness package which had been developed. I must confess that at that time, I was not fully convinced, because as judges, we are always cynical and we all tend to scrutinize and ask a lot of questions. But I tried what Koteja gave me, what Mr. Koteja, Dr. Koteja gave me. And that was really the initiation. Thanks to my initial association with Vaidya Koteja ji, I explored the contours of Ayurveda further. Life gives you so many lessons. My wife has been very deeply associated with food synergies, about using a holistic lifestyle to further the cause of good living. We have both become vegans over a year ago, she more than a year ago. Me, I'm just a tail which follows the leader in the house. But over a period of time, what Ayurveda has taught us is that there is so much to treating disease and illness than mere medicine. We have come to realize through our conversations over the last so many months with these distinguished doctors that food is the greatest medicine. What we eat, how we eat it, what time we eat, and what season we eat what we eat is crucial to maintaining a balance in life. And life ultimately is all about maintaining that sense of balance. And this balance between Vata, Pitta and Kapha is the ultimate aspiration of Ayurveda. And what is that balance all about?
That balance tells us about the need to be mindful.
To be mindful of your mind, to be mindful of your body, and to listen to the signals which your body sends you. Too often, most of us miss these signals which our body sends us. Nature is an extraordinarily powerful agent of which we are only small specks. If you travel to Ladakh, for instance, you'll realize what an insignificant speck in the universe of nature that we all are. But equally, just as you realize how insignificant we are in terms of the wider scheme of nature, you also realize how powerful we have been made as human beings by this wider ecosystem of which we are a part. So I think overall, this trend, this movement in Ayurveda today reflects an aspiration of a global future of well-being for the communities across the world. India has received a lot from the world outside, and we continue to receive the benefit of the wisdom and the experience of people outside India,
as so many of the initial participants will bring to this conference. But equally, we have a lot to share. And it's important that our younger generation should not lose the knowledge
of what has been passed on to us from generation to generation over thousands of years. All that we have to do is to tweak it a little bit to ensure that the acquired generations of knowledge of the past finds validation in the modern age, which is essentially an age of technology and an age of the knowledge economy. So my best wishes to all of you. I think I took a little longer, but I couldn't help it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really blessed and so happy.
Shri Pratap Rao Jadhav, the Minister of State, independent charge of the Ministry of Ayush and Minister of State, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare.